3, 2, 1, action.
The Rules Rock with Coach Ellis.
Perfect.
So here's the discussion. Today's rule we're going to talk about is know your role. All right? And knowing your role is really about what position you play on my team. Are you my star player? Are you a skill player? Are you one of my many, millions and millions of bench warmers? Okay? Because truth of the matter is, you don't really know until I tell you what position you're in.
Oh no, that is not true.
Come
I think
on
the
now.
woman set the stage for what position she want to play because we have authority. So you guys, we have the power. You follow us.
So if
We
that's
allow
true-
you to treat you. We allow you guys to treat us the way we want to be treated. However we present ourselves, the way you're going to treat us. But if we come across as I'm not playing no games, these are the rules. This is what I'm gonna stand for. What I'm not gonna stand for. Either you roll with it or you keep it moving.
Then who in their right mind wants to be a bench warmer?
Nobody,
But
but the side
yeah,
chicks
but-
do
but
because they
I
do get
got a lot of
benefits.
bench warmers.
I mean, the bench warmers they do get benefits. Some women don't want relationships, and some women don't want the responsibility and everything that comes with it, the drama. But you know, the ones who do want a relationship,
I disagree with a twist. Okay, I agree with a
What a
twist.
twist.
All right.
Okay, and what I mean by that is okay, women know out the gate, you set the tone for what you want to be, okay, or whatever. You set yourself up. If you want to be a bench warmer, what happens is bench warmers don't realize that they have trade options, that they can trade to another team.
And be a bench warmer for another team. So
No, not be a bench warmer to another team, meaning that, okay, the terminology in you, and I talked about this before, the terminology of a bench warmer means that you don't measure up, that you're just an average player. Maybe you're just an average player. Okay, so I need trade options. I need to go to another team, somebody that recognizes I'm a star player.
Well, here's where I stand with it. It wasn't until I really figured out what the different roles were that I realized that I was one of each one. And I didn't realize that because of the type of person I was. I was the giving, I have your back and so forth. And so when I recognized that I was the bench warmer, I had to reposition myself to make myself not available all the time, you know, that I had even more standards. So the way that they come across to you can affect how you are. So you have to be that type of person that not put yourself in that position, not being available all the time, because the bench warmer, she makes herself available all the time. And
that's not true.
well,
look, here's what the bench warmer. You don't remember. Bench
What is the
warmers-
definition?
The bench warmers are for my pleasure. Okay? They respond to me. Okay? They're available. They may not be available all the time. But,
So the bench
but
warmer-
more. Yeah, it's
not
the after midnight girl, it's the booty call girl, it's the side chick to the side chick to the side chick. It's the one just happy to be in the game.
Okay.
They have somebody paying attention to them. They may be beautiful, and smart,
But they have no self-esteem.
No self-esteem.
And being conniving as you are, you take advantage. You take advantage of that. Okay. It's true, because a woman that's confident in herself will never set herself up for that. In the beginning, it's called communication. The problem is we talked about this before. People fall in lust before they fall in love. Okay, and what happens is a good orgasm equates to you being able to treat me any way that you want to.
and
then
Eddie Murphy
again-
said it best, right? Ooh.
But then
Yeah.
again, some women like being a bench woman. Some women sign up to be the bench woman. Like
They absolutely do.
You gotta clean
we
up
seek
on
them out. We seek them out.
Turn like a scud missile.
So we seek them out.
and then you know with the skilled player, she is that person who, for example, if the wife isn't into exercising, he knows that she's the person that likes to go work out, so he's going to call upon her. Oh, let's go work out.
Yeah.
The type of
My
person-
workout wife.
Right,
My work
the
wife.
workout wife, the empowerment wife. You know, if the wife is so busy that she doesn't have time to build him up, to encourage him, she's the one that comes along and it's like, you know, oh, you know, you can do this, whatever. So yeah.
yeah,
My cheerleader.
the skill one, she's versatile. You know, she can play any role.
I think that's plain
Oh,
foolishness.
no.
Okay,
Yeah, 'cause she got skills.
No, that is plain foolishness. That is just y'all giving a man an excuse to be immature and irresponsible.
Come on
okay?
now.
Okay, that's children's world. Okay, the skill player and all of this garbage or whatever and stuff like that. You set standards for yourself. You set standards for yourself. You set realistic goals of what your expectations is out of a relationship.
See, but in order to do that, Ross Silk, they must know who they are.
Exactly.
And most women, especially before they're age 30, okay, they have no clue who they are. Only thing they know is that they happy that somebody paying attention to them.
Oh, Lord.
And so as a good team owner, now let's make sure, guys, we're team owners. That's why we can have skill. We own the team. That's why we can position folks. And no matter what you think of yourself, no matter how good self-esteem you have of yourself, you are the position I place you in. Now, you may not like that position, and when I start treating you a certain way, you think that I'm treating you beneath yourself, you do look for trade options. But for me, you are where I put you. Don't you think so?
I disagree.
Come on now.
No.
Hey, you ain't even old enough to know enough.
Oh, wait a minute, though. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. First of all, I have relationship experience. It's going to be different relationship experience than you and these two lovely young ladies too. But here's the thing. You say that you put us where you want to put us.
Yeah.
I can be where I want to be too. How do you know that you're not my bench warmer?
Because you can't own the team. You might have a candy store,
Oh,
but you can't own the team.
No. I can own the team. I can own several teams should I choose to.
See, that is not in the female DNA.
Oh,
say?
no. Who says that?
Who says that?
Well, because
Queens inspire kings.
Yes.
yeah,
We
but
usually
kings-
see what you don't see in yourself.
So that makes you a
Pull
good
it
skill
out.
player. You're able to bring out things out of me. You're able to make me the man I'm supposed to be.
I'm the only player.
Well, if you're the only player, that would make you the star player.
Pretty much.
Okay? But if you've dated more than 3 men in your life, you have been a bench warmer, you have been a skill player, and you've been a
But
star
a lot of
player.
times we're not bench warmers on purpose because you guys don't effectively communicate. You try to get over on us, and when we catch you, like she said earlier, we switch teams.
That's okay.
But I think the other thing too
We're not all
is
stupid
that
and naive.
we're exactly. People show you who they are from the beginning, out the gate, okay? And again, because we choose and we look, men go into relationship for comfort, women go into relationship for potential, okay? They look at somebody, they see potential or whatever. That's why 50% of women out there get with a man, improve his gear game, improve his social status, and then he gets brand new like he don't need her anymore. Because we start molding and we start babysitting and
That
changing
sounds so much
children.
like manipulation.
It is.
You know, so you've been manipulating me. That's why he trades you in for somebody else. He's trying to be
No, he
manipulated.
trades you in for
No, that's not
because
the
he know he can't get
The
over.
reality is, a lot of situations, if you're with me, you're gonna upgrade yourself. And a lot of times men don't want to upgrade. They don't want to do the work.
Oh, the timeout. Wait a minute.
We
You
still play.
really
Yeah,
into
we're
sports,
still
aren't you?
but we're still playing.
All of that.
I'm throwing the flag because there's something wrong with this.
But the reality is you don't have the control because we're still playing the game. So your flag meant nothing to us now.
As long as you're
So who's
playing,
in
look,
control?
as long as you're playing the game, I'm in control.
And see, I agree with what you're saying. We know who you all are from the jump. If you're being the bench warmer and I'm only getting those phone calls past midnight, I should be
You
smart
already
enough to
know.
know that it is only a booty call. That's all you want me for.
And just like she said, she is smart enough to know. But again, we take our BS detectors off the line. We see the potential, and we're already in lust. So we put up and tolerate with this foolishness, okay? And again, it goes on and on and on and on.
That's because I've convinced you I love the Jew. You know, and because I love the Jew, you need to struggle with me a little bit.
See,
because
we
I
think we
love-
can change you. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Oh, you know what? I can get him to stop calling me at midnight. Maybe, you know, I can get him to do a day date. And you can give us that one day date.
Yeah.
But then that'll be that
Everybody's out
one
of
day.
town. When everybody's out of town.
When everyone's out of town and nobody can see. But we know. A smart woman will know. A woman with good self-esteem, she'll know better and she will walk away and she will trade teams.
But the
So-
reality is, to date means to collect data. That's what that means, to date someone.
Really?
It means to collect data on your mate.
I agree with
So you don't know who you're dating unless you know who you are. So sometimes we're choosing to be bench warmers because we don't want to look at ourselves. That's all we know.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I think that's very important. Because if you don't know who you are, I as a team owner, I'm going to try to define you. I'm going to define you for my pleasure, which is what a bench warmer is. Bench warmer is there for my pleasure. I'm going to define you in such a way that makes you useful to me and makes you useless to any other man the rest of your life.
That is true because you got to think about it. Most coaches, they do their homework before they recruit.
Absolutely. And what do we do to you? We recruit.
So it goes to what you said about us, manipulation. So if you know she might have low self-esteem and you go after her, that means you want to put her on the bench because you know she's not going to know anything else
You
other
know
than
who
that.
you can do that to. You know which all the bench
you know you
warmers
can't
have.
make us no bench
Yes, you
warmers.
know
You know
you
that,
could. You know
though.
who you can do that to.
You know you
I
can't make
Look,
us that.
I can bench warm anybody.
Someone
Well, I
got
agree
you
with
Sally
you,
mistake.
Coach. I do agree.
See, that's why I love her. She agrees with me. That's
So you're gonna be on the bench. We need to get you out
No,
of
I'm
the
not on the bench.
bench. Come on off the bench.
But I agree with Coach. When you start a relationship with someone, you really don't know what role you play. And even as a woman, we say, you know, we want to be in a relationship with this man. We want to be the only one. And in our minds, we can think that. but he can have a completely different agenda. So when the late night phone calls come, or when he's not spending enough time with you, that's when you start realizing, wait a minute, I am not the main, I'm not his girlfriend, I'm not a priority. That's when you realize what position
But we see
you
those
play.
signs. We see those signs before we even go to the before we even get to the basketball court. We see those signs before we even sit down. We see all those signs, but we ignore it because it goes back to what we said earlier. We want to change people.
Yes.
We see better than you. He's not gonna do it to us. Woe is me. But we get
loves
caught up.
me.
I love you too.
I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna be different.
I wanna
But a lot of
change
times,
man.
a lot of times you know before you even go through the door to go through the gym, you already know before you walk through the
what's
door. Like you already know. Okay, you know I'm gonna be a bench warmer. But you know if I just be a really good bench warmer, I might become like maybe a villain.
Yeah. 'Cause so here's what you know. Here's what you know. That if you've ever a bench warmer on a particular guy's team, you will never be a star player. You might get be a skill player, but if he ever puts you on the bench, you will never become his star player.
But,
Ain't that right, bro?
but sometimes we want to stay on the bench though. We want to stay on the bench because we're not that naive. Like we don't know. Yeah, we want things to change, but sometimes we're just kind of waiting to find our own new team to go after.
Or is
Well, it depends on what you want out of the relationship. And like you
Right.
said, I could be hanging out with you and having a great time, but really giving my attention and time to someone else, and you're just somebody to pass
Let's
time.
make sure we understand.
Y'all don't want to hear that though.
No, let's make sure you understand this. If I am the only man in your, if you're on my
Who is
bench,
telling you these things?
those are the rules. I mean,
Those are your
help me out.
All you know is your ability. I know your potential. See, I know where I want to take you. All you know is where you are. You are on my
Who are you
team.
talking to,
And
Billy?
you are, yes, I'm talking to you.
A lot of y'all,
And yes,
a lot
you
of
right
men
here.
don't
And
know.
you don't know.
Wait a minute. A lot of men don't know who they are until we tell you. Let's get that together at the
That's
time.
not easy. That's where we are confused. You are
You're
really
confused.
confused.
You're
Because first of all, men by our very nature, we're not insecure. We're hunters. We go out.
Who is this?
No.
Wait a minute. Who is insecure? Y'all more insecure than we are. Let's get let's get.
We may be insecure, but we
Y'all like
won't
I gotta
show
get on
it.
this couch because y'all know y'all lying up here. I got 7 brothers. Y'all lying up there right there. They insecure my behind.
I've dated men that were very insecure.
And I'm not suggesting we can be insecure, but most
Yes, you do.
no, we don't become insecure until we are able to be vulnerable with you. Then you get to your insecurities. For most men, we don't become vulnerable with you to way down the line. Okay, after we done had our relations, and we're past just to having sex, we're really getting to where we're really beginning to have
Shared
emotions,
stuff.
and because for the most part, you won't get inside the circle of trust because we don't trust you, and we won't trust you.
But it can be the same thing for a woman. Like you're talking about, you have these rules, but women have their rules too, and you're thinking that you're the only guy. That's not always.
Well, we got names for women that got more than one guy.
Oh,
That ain't never a good
well,
thing.
if you're calling us names, we can call you the same thing.
Studs, we the man. Yeah, we the man.
It's not-
Come on, man.
And that phrase right there, we the man, what is that phrase right there, we the man supposed to mean?
It means I got a bench woman there, a bench woman there, a bench woman there. I'm the man.
And see, I'm gonna go ahead and call you about this whole, the insecurities, the men, we're not insecure. Every man is insecure. And this whole talk about how we know your potential, we know where you're gonna be, what you are, and that's the reason why we choose you. Men are insecure, that's the reason why you call yourself choosing women.
But we won't show you
That's
that.
your
though.
insecurity. You're only gonna go for those that you think that you can have because you know for a fact those above you, that is not your potential.
You
It's your
showed
insecurity
us
that you
something.
can't get them.
You showed us something that said, okay, you can go in here. Just like your intellect. Your intellect might be just rocket. You got a master's degree. You got all this going on. So I swerve away from that, I play on that. And then we work that. But then, again, that's your ability. But I know, okay, she's smart, she's all intellectual, but right here is her weak spot. She ain't had a man in 5 years. So I know that on this level, I can work her on that level. Where's your social life? Where's your man skills? If you had a man, then you wouldn't be right here with me. Because I know your potential. I'm taking you to that next level.
So in other words, what the brother's saying is that we find out what your vulnerability is, and we work your vulnerability.
Yes.
That's true. I
We tell
do
pretty
agree
girls
with
are
that.
smart,
I
we
do.
tell smart girls
we
are pretty.
but then it's up to us to realize, like he can be fine, he can have all this money, he can be doing all this stuff, but if he's not treating us right, that's when we have to say.
And if I'm
it's
secure with myself,
over.
despite what you tell me, I don't need your validation. Because
Correct.
I already know I'm pretty.
Yes,
I already know I'm
exactly.
smart. So I don't need that.
But that's if you know, but But how many women before the age of 30 actually know this?
That has to be validated.
But you might, but you, okay, if you know this, and I'm not suggesting you don't, if you know this, you paid a price
Yes, I did.
to get to know this.
Absolutely.
And that price was a bench warmer price at some level.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And sometimes I was a bench warmer by choice because I was in grad school, I was working multiple jobs, so I could not maintain a relationship at that time. So I was okay with the phone call because as you called me late, I was calling you late too. So it was a mutual kind of understanding. But as I grew as a person, as I grew in my career, I know what my worth is, and I'm not going to settle for anything less.
There's always going to be a time you're still going to question that. You're like, well, maybe I am being too hard on her. Maybe I am being this. And that's where coach slides in. Like, okay, see, you
Oh,
don't
coach got to
go
slide
out
in
there.
there. I mean, Ron don't slide in. Coach got to slide in. I got you.
Overall, when it comes to everything of knowing your role, everybody needs to know that every role is your role. Because to get to that, to be that star player, you have to start somewhere, and you start from that bottom role to get to the top role.
So every star player used to be a bench warmer.
Exactly. Yes.
I like that
Yes,
because it's true.
Because I knew it before bench warmer.
Just like a
Oh,
CEO.
no. I was in the candy store. Right? Women got candy stores, but well, that's a different conversation altogether.
Oh, that was a term then.
Yeah.
Bench warmer term now.
No. See, because guys own teams.
Exactly.
Guys own teams because it's about talent. Women go shopping at candy stores because it's about the combination and the connection. There's a difference in that. But we can talk about that another time. The problem is that when you've spent all this time trying to figure it out, you've been a bench warmer to 2 or 3 different guys, and you try to be a skill player because it's a skill player. We're exchanging things, okay? So it's not simply just a matter of me calling you, but there's an exchange. You make me feel better about myself. You make me feel smarter. You're good at managing my money. I learned to manage my money better because I hang out with you. It might not even be sexual. It may not even be, but it's not possible for one person to satisfy all the needs of any individual.
I agree with that. I'll let you have that. I agree with that.
So I will have skilled players because I need somebody who's going to help round me out that may not be sexual. But when I get to my appetites, I got bench warmers for every night of the week, depending on what I'm hungry for. It's chicken one night, it's steak one night, sometimes it's a piece of spare rib.
So how does women get off the bench?
Well, if she ever on my bench, she can't get off my bench.
Well, that just sounds selfish.
Right, exactly.
Men are visual.
Yeah.
Men are visual, so that means you're dogs and you're insecure with yourselves because all you want to do is one up each time. You see something else running down the street and it's like, oh man, she looks good. I wonder if I can get that. And your fellas, it's a game to you all.
It is. That's the rules of the game.
But it's like that.
But here's what happens. That it's not always about having bench warmers. Because a man to fully actualize himself would have to have people who see him. The bench warmers don't feed me. Okay? They're there simply for my pleasure.
For the
But
here and now.
skilled players feed me.
So can the skill be the wife?
A lot of men marry their skilled players. They don't marry the star players. Okay? Just because we marry doesn't make you a star player. Okay? Some men are married bench warmers. Okay? Because some men star players are bench
But
warmers.
you just said if you're on the bench, then you're on the bench for life.
Yeah, you are. But if the only thing if I'm a team owner and all I'm used to doing is dealing with bench warmers,
So you're gonna pick a bench warmer.
that's all I got a capacity for. Not every man has the capacity to deal with a star player.
All right. They can't handle a real
Not
woman.
every man.
So they can't handle a real woman.
That sounds like
Not-
insecurity again.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, but
you don't know your potential.
Or lack of skills.
But we got to find your potential though. You don't know your
Find my
potential.
potential.
All you have is bench warmers. We got to
Exactly. You gotta step your game up.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So we need to go get those young men. That's why every young man needs an older lover
Really?
who can teach him how to be a better man. Okay.
I don't know about that.
I
didn't
a bench
No,
warmer.
I don't
That's
agree with
only
that.
because you know you can keep her in her place so that you can run out and do your dirt.
Is it possible that I choose bench warmers because I don't have the capacity
Because
to
you
do
don't have
anything else?
self-esteem.
Right. So I need an older woman, a wise one, more experienced one.
You need a mom.
That's like a mom.
Exactly.
Right.
You
No,
need a mom.
I ain't trying to do with her what I'm trying to do with my mom now. I ain't trying to do all that.
But you need mommy qualities.
Exactly.
Yeah, basically.
I
You want to be lazy and you want somebody to take care of you.
No, I want someone to help groom me.
No.
No.
You want somebody to sit here and be your personal slave. That's what that is. You want somebody to sit here and just do everything
All
for
right,
you.
so are you
want to be
suggesting?
spoon
Are you
fed.
suggesting? See, I'm an avid proponent of this idea that we can pass down wisdom. Are you suggesting then that if a young man has, if a cub has a cougar, that he will not learn valuable lessons on how to care for women
He will.
because of what she demands out
He
of him?
will, but women his age won't be able to appreciate it sometimes
No,
because
they
he will
won't.
be more mature. So he will have to stay in that category with older women.
But just in case,
And that ain't a bad thing.
but just in
I like how
case
you
you think that
on
older
that
woman
too.
doesn't mean that you're going to teach them something. Because older women is not your age. Does that mean that you're intelligent? Your age does that mean that I'm going to be able to teach you anything? That means you just have age.
Well, she has experience.
True, and that history has proven that you don't always stay with that cougar. They always end up going back to their age group.
You know why? Because Cougar done taught me some things. I can run more game on the age group.
No.
She done taught me some things that these young women don't even know yet.
Exactly.
And I'm like, alrighty. So I'm gonna go spread the knowledge. I'm a teacher. I'm gonna start touching the
I feel like
masses.
the problem though isn't really about the age groups. I think that somebody needs to say, why is this ownership? Why is it okay for somebody to own anybody? I mean, why isn't it equal play? Maybe we need to be in golf where there is no team. It's like one person. Why is there anything where I know some of us said that, you know, the women, maybe women have teams, but maybe we need to be in a partnership. Why do we have to play this game anyway?
Because
That's life.
yeah,
No,
because,
life is a game, but you don't have to play games.
because if I'm honest with you, when I'm 20 years old, I ain't looking for partnership. I'm looking for me. It's all about me. When
I
I'm
understand
25 years old, look, my brain ain't even formed yet.
I understand that. I understand that
cortex
you're
isn't
not
formed.
looking for marriage, but why do we have to look? Because men do go out. That's how God made men, to conquer, to go out to be the hunters, you know. But that was for prey. We're not prey. We don't need to be consumed, you know. And we are those who nurture and things like that. So we all have different levels of our lives and different things together. But why can't we grow from one another and with one another? Why do we necessarily have to conquer each other?
Well, it's all about staying in your lane, know your role, and the world will be a better place. You know, if you stay in your lane, you do what you're supposed to do, you do your job, the team will run smoothly. If you want to be the side chick, some people are happy being the side chick, be the side chick. You want to be the star player, you know he has a side chick, some women are okay with that, as long as they're taken care of. Be that. But if you want to be that strong woman, you want a good relationship, then you have to set your standards, set goals, and do not waver.
I agree with that, but we're talking about the team players. But why? But there's an owner. He's not on the team.
The owner,
he
whatever, that's all
owns the
talk,
team.
girl. Don't let her rough you
That's
up.
like that's all talk. That sounds like pimp talk. Like we got a whole way there. Pimps up, hoes down. Whatever. Yeah. So.
But here's what it is. The reason we don't have these partnerships is because we're not sure we can trust you in partnerships. Okay? We don't learn to trust you till we've already been in that intimate space with you multiple times to make sure that you are really down for us.
Now,
So
what do you
it takes-
define as intimate space? Are we talking about the many times that I have been with you physically, or when the times that I've had your back, or I've been there through something, a grandma died, a aunt died, or something, or I had a fear and I was there for you, or you had a fear, or are we talking about sex?
Well, here's the thing. For guys, intimacy starts at sex. It starts there. We don't begin to trust you or even want to really talk to you until we've already crossed it.
Well, Coach, let me get in here for a minute. I've been hearing a lot of rhetoric over time.
Come on.
We need to stop the monotony here. Listen, number one, you have to know yourself. Okay? My mom always used to tell me something. A man's not going to do any more to a woman than what a woman allows him to do.
That's it.
So what we need to do, first of all, is listen to these big mamas when they're talking to us women. When your daddy talking to you, boy, close your mouth. If your daddy's not there, your uncle or whoever the case may be talking to you, use that wisdom they gave you because they were here before you for a reason.
That's it.
So the thing of it is, what we do is we say, okay, that old person, you old now, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't need to hear what you got to say.
Yeah.
And then we go, when we bump our head, we come back to them, oh, please pray for me, please this and please that. It's too late now. But the thing of it is, I said something that you said earlier. My daughter went out on her 11th grade prom. And the first thing I said to the guy, I said, you know what God do to players? He said, what's that, sir? You give him a beautiful daughter. You touch my daughter, I'm gonna break your arm. So when I was 20, I used to think like a hunter,
Yeah.
conqueror. But now I'm in my 40s, I got a daughter to think about. I don't want somebody to mistreat her or treat her any kind of way because I have to be the one to pick up the pieces. So now I got to come from a different mindset and a perspective. See, when you're a boy, you think as a boy, but when you're a man, you put away childish things. So the point of it is that conquer a bench woman, all this other stuff. You're going to be a bench woman if that's the position that you choose to take.
But now, when you're saying about this bench warmer thing, and I'm with you with that, but what we also have to understand is where did we get this analogy of the bench warmer? Where did we get the analogy of this is a team? You got to go back to, you got to take back from where it came from. So therefore, if you looked at your dad and you looked at your uncle and you looked at them and you saw what they were doing, you're like, oh, that's what men are supposed to do. That's what men are supposed to do. I'm gonna be just like him.
Well, that's true.
When I was a kid,
from ego.
exactly. When I was a kid, everybody. When I was in first grade, the thing was, what do you want to be when you grow up? Everybody was firemen, doctors, policemen. James, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a pimp. Why? Because in Chicago, that's what I saw. Pimps just giving out money. I didn't understand. That's what I thought. That's what a pimp was supposed to do.
That's why you still got the ring like that now?
Hey, you know, that's what we do. But the bottom line is, my thing is this. Once we nip the problem in the bud, then we'll be able to go ahead and aspire those to become what they should be.
That's right.
So are you suggesting that after we grow up, we grow out of this place where we want multiple choices, we grow out of this place where we like to have bench warmers, a few skilled players. We got the star player, but we don't necessarily want her to know about everything else. Are you saying that we grow out of that?
Well, no, I'm not saying that we grow out of that. First of all, what it is that we have to come into the conclusion of this is where we're going. We have to understand what our roadmap is. We as men, we have to already establish ourselves as who we need to be. Like you were talking about the team concept. Right. If I'm going to be the owner of the team, I need to make sure that however my team is going to be in first place, I have to make sure that what I'm doing as an owner is in first place. I can't sit up here and be an owner with a bench warmer mentality. I have to be an owner with a number one mentality. So therefore, I'm going to be looking for number ones all over the place.
So what you're saying is you got to change the game.
Like that, though.
No,
it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't start off like that.
No, it does not start off.
And to your point, what you were saying about your daughter, it behooves me because a lot of men, you mistreat women, but when it comes to your daughter, you forget everything that you've done to other women, and all the rules go out the door. But you have to remember that we're somebody's daughter.
Right.
That we're somebody's daughter. So how do you make that transition? Because you have been, so you have mistreated women, you have cheated on women, but now here's your daughter. And she's coming home and she's telling you what's going on with her boyfriend. But it mirrors what you have done to someone else's daughter.
Well, there's a thing called a circle, 360 degrees, right? What you did to somebody else will not necessarily happen to you, but happen to somebody in your line. But I think that some of us choose not to. The only way you can come out of this vicious cycle that we men has as hunters is that we gain wisdom. Wisdom will give you the knowledge to say, man, one woman is more than enough headache.
But when is that?
And not so much a headache from a standpoint that a woman is a headache, but if you're really what I'm saying is, I'm being brutally honest. What I'm saying is, if you're doing everything you're supposed to do as a man towards that woman, at the end of the day, you're going to be tired from it because you're trying to give all your all to that woman, your love, your soul, your heart. You're working hard. You want to make sure you're faithful to her. You want to make sure you want to be a good husband, a good father. That takes a lot of energy.
Before we get to this, to you finding your wisdom and your maturity, do you not feel that you have a responsibility to have the younger men avoid waiting to, because what if they don't get to that point? What is the responsibility do you think that you should have to the younger men so that they don't have to get a wife at 20? Right. But don't you think that they should have some type of, someone said it earlier, we need to start giving what we have so they don't have to make the same mistakes or the same mindsets that we've had.
And I agree. I love the question you asked me because I've been mentoring for years. The point of it is what's happening in our neighborhoods is because the older men, my age, not teaching the younger men. Yeah. So they're going out killing each other. They're going out having multiple babies. And I'm not talking about...
They're not teaching or them fools ain't listening.
Matter of fact, no, it's not a fact of them. Listen, let me tell you something about a man. I don't know about you, but I was raised by a man's man. And if a man's man get a hold of a boy, he's going to transform him into a man. See, what's happening is we have 40-year-old boys who pretend to be men.
That's it.
And they're not stepping up doing what they're supposed to do. And instead of them teaching, they're actually and making the little boys, young boys are watching them and repeating what they're doing.
That's it.
So what community?
But we also have to understand, again, we're talking about teaching, okay? Let's look at this thing. We, as of course, men, we are taught basically men are in leadership. Men are about leadership. And let's go ahead and let's define all this bench warming and second team and first team All-American stuff.
Come on.
The bottom line is that men are about leadership. Now watch how this works. Men are about leadership. When a woman, the first thing that a woman is looking for when she looks at a man is, where can he take me? Because the bottom line is, if a man can't take you where a woman don't want to go, she ain't gonna go.
That's right.
I don't give a care how good she look. I don't care how she look in pumps or how she look in her dress. If you ain't taking her where she don't want to go, she ain't gonna go. Now watch this. Women are about wisdom. You wonder why certain women go around in a circle, because there are no leadership. But after a while, they understand that they're going around in a circle, but they're looking for somebody to lead them out of the circle so that they can go ahead and prosper as well.
So hold on. Some woman about to come over here and shoot you, talking about, I don't need a man to lead me around.
I didn't say lead you around. I said take you out of what you got yourself into.
I am smart, I am important, I am beautiful.
Did not
But
say.
you know, but that doesn't. But that idea doesn't take highest.
But notice what.
Highest.
But watch this.
That idea doesn't take away from that. It's like the whole idea of submission. I think a lot of women get scared of the word submission because sometimes we think to have a man lead us out, to submit would mean that I have to be less than and that I don't offer anything. But this is about your role. You have to understand your role and your place and how you were designed. And we can be the smartest woman in the world, but it is an amazing thing when you can get a man who leads correctly. I don't mean manipulate and tell you, you know, we don't need Ike, you know, but a man who's willing to be the right type of leader, then we do submit. And then you see the beauty of that and how that works together.
But now, nobody wants to submit to a fool. Let's just be honest about it. Let me let you guys understand something. For those of you who don't know, if there's a woman that you really love and you're really trying to get her attention, a woman loves power. She loves a man that knows who he is. She loves a man with confidence. This weekend, I had an appointment with a young lady about some particular business I was running, and all of a sudden she just started to pour down like Niagara Falls. She was just crying. And I said, sweetheart, what's the problem? She said, I've been with this man for 14 years. We got 6 kids together, and he just won't do right. Now, what am I supposed to tell her? What am I supposed to do in that case? You know, pick another player. There's bigger fish in the sea. I couldn't do that because I could see my daughter in that young lady.
But then again, you go back to what I was saying about men in leadership and women with wisdom. Watch how this flows. Now, if a man understands leadership, he also understands and knows that if he's picking the right mate, this woman has wisdom.
Yeah.
So if his leadership is number one, he's going to pick somebody who has the right wisdom to keep his leadership at number one and to propel him to where the other things that he needs to go. You ain't going to be looking for nobody. Again, if you in the hood, you're going to look at the hood. Your mind is in the hood. The way you think is going to be hoodish. But if you are someone who is looking, hoodish. Okay.
All that works out just fine. I'm chasing skirts. I ain't looking to be, you know.
Well, I tell you what, if you chase the skirts, just get ready to get in contact with DCSD, because after a while, I can give you 600 meters every month when you change your attitude. When that judge said pay, bam, so ordered. You change your attitude.
This is my standpoint. I grew up in church with my grandparents, and so the person who I saw who was a leader in the household, in the community, was my grandfather. My grandfather was the chairman of the deacon board all of my life. My grandmother was the president of the deaconess board. And so until she passed away in that house, I saw him take care of her, love her, nurture her. Now, I did have my bumps because he did not teach me. You know, he provided, you know, even down to the fact of him having their tombstones and everything way before he passed. So he was very responsible. But what he did not do is talk to me about what I should do in choosing a man, what I should look for. And so I had my, you know, trials and errors, a whole lot of error. And it wasn't until I got older, and then even me becoming friends with Coach Ellis and just really understanding my role and what I should do, and the fact that I am a leader, so I need to look for somebody who is on that level, who will lead me, who will transform me, who will empower me, and I can do the same thing.
Which shows you how important it is for the father to be in the young lady's life. Not just the men, but the young ladies. A man gives a woman stability. A man gives a woman strength, and he teaches her how to identify this type of man, that type of man, and so she won't be subject to these pitfalls. Because if you're a woman with confidence, you don't want to be dealing with a clown.
But you also got to remember this too, because of course I understand where you're at, because I had a cousin, which my uncle taught her everything she knows, but then all of a sudden she became so manly.
I was about to say the same thing.
All right,
My dad did that with us.
Now, in regards to being manly, this is what I was talking about. You have to remember one thing: a woman can teach a woman how to be a woman.
That's right.
A man can teach a man how to be a man.
Go ahead.
Now the thing is that when a man teaches a woman how to be a man, then all of a sudden the qualities and the attributes of her, she will start thinking like a man. I'm sorry, and I'm not doing a play on the book. I'm just letting you know how this works. So what'll happen is the woman will start saying stuff. You know, well, hey, I don't, like you said, Coach. I don't need a man. I don't need this. I don't. Well, no, she becomes very domineering, very forceful, and then of course, then that word that you mentioned, submissive.
That's it.
That word will leave. Because now her father has taught her, you need to be able to do this, you need to be able to do this. What happened, my cousin, she got married, but she had a divorce in 6 months. Why? Because she was too domineering and her husband was too soft. Because her husband had to deal with the mother because the father was not in the picture.
Wow.
I feel like this when it comes to submissive. Most women, we want to be submissive.
That's
what
it.
the Bible says. But the reality is, I don't trust you to lead me. So then that's what I don't trust you to lead me.
Why?
Because the reality is, we've been out of order for a minute. Because the way it was supposed to be, you know, forgive me, I don't know all of the work.
That's all right. We got.
I know all of the work. The men are supposed to lead.
That's right.
We're supposed to sustain.
But what if I show myself as a
If
leader?
you can't, wait a minute. If you can't lead, now we got to start leading and sustaining. That's why I'll say this: the first woman who ever had to take out the trash by herself, that set the tone.
I got you.
Hold on, sis. What does taking out trash to do with leadership?
Okay.
That's the statement.
No.
She's saying it's the moment that we had to step into your shoes. That's right. And we had to step into your shoes.
Since when did taking out the trash become man's work?
It's
a symbol.
I'm based on being old fashioned. What I was taught. The man's supposed to take out the. I ain't never supposed to touch trash. I ain't supposed to touch the doorknob. It's a whole bunch of things I ain't supposed to do.
So what you supposed to do?
I'm supposed to cook and clean and make sure. This is my thing. I want to be a housewife for real because I don't want to work for nobody else. But my thing is, if I become your housewife, what you gotta do is the reality is what you gotta do is come home.
That's right.
What you gotta do is come home. But whenever the army, whatever, when them women had to go to work, when y'all was away, when they had to go to work and make their own money, when y'all came back, I'm son. What you getting ready? I could buy my own shoes. Our whole mentality changed.
We said that check too, but you understand.
No, but I'm saying is,
You understand? That's not the reality.
No, but that's how the tone got changed.
And that's the reality for most of America. But for certain communities like our community, it was way before folks went off to war.
Because it's sad, but it's sad. But black men are afraid to lead. They are the most powerful creatures on this planet.
I think, and we're gonna go.
Y'all don't want to lead.
I'm gonna disagree with the root. I believe that the root happened. We're gonna go. Now we're gonna go back to the I can't take my earrings off because we together. You know, we're not together. We are people. But I believe it started when we all heard of the Willie Lynch letters.
Right.
You know, if we want to talk about where it started, the division of the family, our culture, black people, it started when they wanted to separate the black woman and the black man.
That's right.
And they wanted to start making the man feel like he was less than. This was a slavery. This had nothing to do with men or women, us doing it. I believe that that's where the division in the black family started.
Right.
And then as we started to become powerful in ourselves, black power, say it loud, and we started to we left the Martin Luther Kings and we're going to just be kind of mild and we're going to be peaceful. And then people started to say that I can be an individual. And then we started to see a rise in single families and with the black community. And with that, then we do see the breakdown of the roles. The things that we expected daddy to do, granddaddy to do. Granddaddy ain't even here.
Right.
You know, he out talking about black power, but he ain't even claiming his daughter. You know, and so then the breakdown happens. And like my sister said, we want to submit. Any woman in here, she's lying. We want to submit.
Hold
we
on.
do.
You want to submit?
I do. And, you know, the
Hold on. Audience, y'all want to submit? Because I want to know. I want to know where you at.
And if you start trying to put everybody on the bench, you would know who won't want to submit then. Don't you know what to do that? Come on, then. I put us on the bench then.
To go back, my grandparents, my grandmother never drove, so my grandfather took her everywhere she needed to go.
Come on.
And then there goes my father raised me. My father raised me how to change oil, a tire, and motor. And I kept on saying a long time ago, I said, you think I'm a boy? Like, I'm trying to figure out how do you go to your mother, seeing your father drive him around, to now I'm changing oil. Like, did you really want a boy, or did you want a female, a daughter? Right. So I had to have a conversation with my father, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not supposed to be building a fence or building the store shed in the backyard. That is not my role as a woman. So I had to figure this out as I got older because I got confused.
So now I'm confused. all these gender roles in 2016 when everybody's equal, you know.
That's not
We're not equal.
They're not equal.
They're not equal.
They're not equal. And to be honest with you, the women's equal rights was kind of one of the things that really kind of disenfranchised us as a community. What the sister said here before was true, that Willie Lynch mentality of putting a man in front, and he was deliberately showed. So what's happening is we're still suffering abandonment issues. Black man, you abandoned me. Black man, you left me. Black man, you let him rape me. Black man, you let him mistreat me. Okay, and because of those, the generation repeats. You and I talked about before when people talk about we're staying in this relationship for the children. I always caution people, be careful what you allow to be poured into your children. Because if you're a woman and your man is cheating on you and he's out and y'all arguing and y'all the FU family all the time, those manifestations are going to show up later on in your children. So then when your daughter comes to you and she can't understand, she equates respect as, if you love me, you hit me. If you love me, you disrespect me because he comes home. I hear sisters say all the time or whatever and stuff like that. Well, at least he takes care of home. That's not the common denominators for respect. Okay, so that's huge.
Do you believe that if we're talking about relationships, that part of the dysfunction of relationships is this breakdown of this nuclear family that did not allow us, I won't say did not allow us. I really think that we can blame slavery and all that other stuff, but really this is 2016. It's more than 200 years later. Okay, so it ain't that far anymore. We have refused to come back and take control of our families, to be able to say as a man, daughter, son, this is what's expected. And with my daughter, I tell her, hey, you bear my last name. There are privileges that come with that.
She's gonna be on the bench.
Okay.
Lord.
There are privileges that come with that. She would not be a bench woman.
No, she'll be on the bench because you're talking. You spent this whole 30 minutes talking about you want us to be bench women, breaking us down, and we ain't about nothing. What's gonna happen when your child gonna be a bench? Because I guarantee you, sometimes your karma don't come back on you; it come back on your kids.
But what would you tell her? Generational curses.
Generational curses. It's real. Like, but now that we know, now the most things that happen to us happened when we were kids, and we form these ideologies that are bred in us the whole time. These parents don't know how to be parents because their parents don't know how to be parents. It's just the reality. I'm in the community. I know. I see it. But my thing is, now that we know, now you don't want your child to be a bench woman, but yet you're telling us that we're going to be bench women. But so you're putting it in the atmosphere. It's going to fall back on somebody. You're not going to be here forever. So what are you going to do when she gone and she's sitting on you gone and she on somebody's bench?
Here's what I tell my daughter. If you sit on someone's bench, it's because you have chosen to.
But as a father, you should teach her to know the signs, to not even make it through the door to get there.
Which is why she would have chosen to.
But I think it's even bigger than that, Coach. I think, excuse me for interrupting you, okay, because we talk about those things, but I talk about what you allow to be poured into your children. Society plays a huge, we got ratchet TV that makes it okay for people to cheat and then go to Cancun together. Yes. Okay, we got ratchet TV where this man is sleeping with this one and this one, so there's no foundation. Heck, our cartoons is even crazy these days, okay? So again, even though you may instill in those things, we have to make sure that when our children are out in the world, that the things that are being poured into them out in the world coincides with the values that you set for your daughter.
So here's what happens. And good relationships start in the home.
That's the foundation.
Because if we're honest about it, The father is the standard by which his daughter measures
Yes.
every
Yes,
woman.
absolutely.
First thing you fall in love with.
And the mom is the standard by which we as men measure every woman.
Absolutely.
Okay? So if I don't set a good example to my daughters and my son, okay, then I can expect stuff to come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? It comes full circle.
Yes.
But if we teach and train and mentor and coach and do and pour it all into them, at some juncture, they must make a decision to be sitting on
That's
the
true, and that's where it comes into you knowing yourself.
Right.
Right.
And of course, you're going to do all that you can to lay that great foundation and be great parents. But at the end of the day, it's within your child's
their
self-esteem,
choice. It's
right?
their
And how
choice.
they care about themselves. I'm sorry.
No, you good. There's this movie, I think it's High Learning. And they really talked about, they really separated a white girl, a white boy, a black girl. And a lot of them had mother and fathers in their homes. But as parents, we're in denial about society. We think we teach our kids, we want to teach them, and we forget. They show, if you watch it again, they show 4 different situations where these kids were brought up in good homes with no street knowledge, and they went to that college and they were manipulated by the society because they was not aware. One girl was fighting homosexuality, she was bisexual, she wasn't really sure. He was dealing with stuff because he didn't grow up in the hood. Omar Epstein, I don't think he grew up in the hood, but he became angry because he was taught hood in college. And then a white boy became a white supremacist because he didn't have, but they all had good mother-father homes. Mother-father homes. I'm a single parent by choice. My daughter father passed away, but I lie to you not. My daughter knows the streets and she knows education. I teach her both. I teach her both ends of the spectrum. You talk about sex, this is what I tell her. I said, the reality is, I want you to wait until you get married. The reality. I would like you to wait till you get married. But the truth is, it might happen. I don't care how much I talk to her, how much I teach her, what her father taught her, what my mother taught her. The reality is, she might do it before that. I said, I don't care what he tell you. You better be strapped up every time. You better talk to me every time. I don't act like, baby, no, it's not going to happen because we are not our children only influence. We have social media. We got commit suicide. We got phones. We got YouTube. We got live. We got all these options that we can't control.
We're not a kids only influence. We ought to be our kids' greatest.
Yeah, we're not the only influence to say that we can't, you know.
Well, I agree, we're not the only influence. 'Cause part of the thing part of the conversation with relationships. Go ahead, jump in. Part of the conversation jumping with relationships with kids and with knowing the roles that they're going to play. Part of it is, you know, I've had this conversation about bench warmers, skill players, and star players with my daughters. Okay, because regardless of what anybody says, that's how guys think. Okay, and what I let them know is that joker you like, I know every game he's about to play. Okay, because there ain't no player like an old player.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know every game. So when he starts telling you, here's what he's going to say on the first 5 dates. Okay, they may not be the exact same words. I don't speak hip hop. Okay, they may not be the same 5 words, but they mean the same things.
Right.
And when they come back, she said, "But Dad, you know he said that." I said, "Yeah, he said that. Here's what he expected. What did you do?" And the reason for those conversations is that I won't always be around. I won't always be there. And at some juncture, they may actually make the decision to be a bench warmer. It'll break my heart. But when they make the decision, it won't be because they didn't know. They've had to make a conscious decision to be there. Be anything less than a star player, they had to make a conscious decision.
Exactly.
Because they'll know all the rules.
But I also believe if the foundation is laid, even if I go astray, I will come back to my foundation. Just like if, right. So if you teach them all these rules, if I decide to be the bench warmer or the skill player, I know it's that feeling inside. Yeah. This is not what my role is. I know I'm worth more. But I'm going to ride this out for whatever, a month, 2 months, a year, 2 years. I want to go back to what I am comfortable with. I want to go back to my worth because that's what you taught me. You have to lay the foundation. It's important.
I think the other thing too is that we got to come out of the gate holding people accountable for the relationships they start. That's where a lot of problems lie, is that you don't want to hold accountability. A woman knows when she's being BS and that she's the bench warmer or whatever, but her fear of if I hold him accountable, half of a man is better than no man. Okay, so then it's okay for him to do the things that we hold. So if we come out of the fear, because okay, once you say hello, we're in a relationship. It may not be an intimate relationship, or we are now, if you're occupying space, if you're occupying time, we're in some form of a relationship. The problem is that the average adult does not know what a relationship is. So we get people to say, oh no, we just chilling. We just chill. You want to chill? Go stand in the refrigerator. That's not just chilling. We're in some form of relationship.
Well, see that.
Right.
From a man's perspective, from a man's perspective, yeah, we gotta have the conversation. We can't assume that we're in a relationship.
Right.
For us to be in a relationship, we gotta have that relationship conversation.
Right. But when is that
You like me? Are we in a relationship?
Yes.
Single, monogamous, long-term,
Absolutely.
relationship.
Right.
If we don't have the words, I will let you assume all day long and all night long we in this relationship.
But
We
you
ain't
may
had a
not need
conversation.
that relationship. You may not have the words. You may, it's the action. Because women go by action sometimes.
Yeah, I know, but see,
Because the thing of it is that you might not say that you love me, but your actions may let me know that you love me. So I'm already gonna take it that we're in a relationship.
And I know that enough about you to know, if I do the right things, you're gonna think the right things, and I'm gonna be able to do other things because you think that we're in if we have not had that conversation, we're not in a relationship.
Right,
So that's also a choice though, because I grew up in a two-family, two-parent household, upper class and middle, class Americans, and both my parents were educators, and my father was the epitome of respect, a leader, all the wonderful things, had all the attributes that, anybody would want in a spouse or a mate or whatever when you grow up and you want to find someone, except that you make choices, and at some point you decide, okay, do I really want that, or do I want a bad boy because that's more exciting? You make that choice to be a bench warmer or whatever. You make that choice for as long as you choose to stay in that role, but you still come out knowing who you are in the beginning, especially depending on where you come from. You can come from the hood, but you also know, I don't want to stay here all the rest of my life. I have bigger aspirations. He may play me now, but this is not the role I accept.
But that's funny that you said that because my dad, I'm just having to use myself as an example. My dad was what you said, I know he's gonna say this, I know he's gonna do that, the first date, he's gonna want you to do this, thus and so. So he wanted me to follow all of that, but my dad was doing a total opposite of what he wanted me to do. He was not faithful, and he was doing other things outside of the marriage, and I was watching all this, so I'm confused now. Because I'm like, you're telling me to do all of this, and then you're doing the total opposite of what you're doing. So in essence, what I'm watching is that you're supposed to be the head and the protector, but now we have to protect ourselves from the head and the protector. You understand what I'm saying?
I got you. And let's shift directions for a minute. There was a conversation earlier about women, when they get their man, they think they can change.
Yes.
Okay? I heard someone say this, that women marry men thinking they can change. Men marry women thinking they won't change. And the truth is neither one's right.
That is true, because my grandmother always said, I just had this conversation the other day, never try to change a man. If you get that man, and if he's bummy, and he doesn't know how to dress, and he has bad manners, table manners, leave him that way. Because when you start to try to change him and fix him up, you're fixing him up for somebody else. Just like she's always said, my grandma always said,
for somebody else.
I'm just saying that's for the old time. And that's not what they said. And she also always told me, never buy a man a pair of shoes because they always walk out of your life.
But I,
Come on.
Grandmother said, that's wisdom.
I call that superstition. They call it superstition. That's what I call it, superstition. That's what it is. Me being
She always told me that.
And I'm not trying to say anybody's old here,
Sure.
because I know I'm probably like a little bit younger when it comes to here. But all of that right there, like I said, that's superstition. Because the whole aspect, going back to what you were sitting here saying about not having the conversation. If we don't talk about a relationship conversation, then that doesn't mean we're not in a relationship. Nowadays, everybody is lying to themselves. Nobody wants to admit their real feelings because they're scared they're going to get hurt. So of course, everybody's going to sit here and talk around in circles, and they're going to say, you know what, this is how it's going to be, or whatever. It's whatever. We ain't talked about this. This is not real. But in general, reactions, actions, they speak louder than words.
So what happens when a lady, if you didn't tell me we were in a relationship, but what if I dropped the L word on you?
Oh, that's a problem.
Well, then my thing, well, see,
You
but
know
here's
what I
my,
mean?
no,
Because if I drop that L word, that's like the L bomb. You know what I mean?
Of course it's a
Let me try to
problem.
say that over. That's lust, because I'm all about
No, that's all about that love thing. It's
Now
all
watch
about
this. Now watch
love
this. Now
thing.
watch this.
It's
Here
all
we go.
about love.
This is where we have a problem. This is where the world as a whole has a problem because we don't understand the concept of how to use certain words.
That's true.
When a woman or when a person says "I love you," you can't love me if you don't know me.
Say it.
Number
I
two.
agree.
Number
But what if
two.
I think that I know you? What if I just think that I know everything? I've been with you for 3 months, and I just
Mhm.
and I think that I know what
You
I'm
used
just
the wrong
saying.
word. You said think.
But what I'm saying is that there's people that have been that met or went on a date,
Right.
and within a week they knew they were loving each other, and they've been married for 85
Now
years.
watch this.
And
No, watch
loving
this.
people are different things.
Absolutely.
But
That's
again,
true. That's true.
like you said, they've known each other for 3 months. I guarantee you that you and I, of course, we could be friends for 3 months, and I guarantee you still wouldn't know where I am or what I'm doing. What you should have done, okay, first of all, again, goes back to that leadership thing that we talked about in the beginning. If a man knows where he's going, then it's for the woman to be able to use her wisdom to make sure that the man is going where he's supposed to go. Then that L word would not even come out. Because once he gets to where he's going and she sees that there's stability, there's someone who can provide, there's someone who can protect and serve, then hey, you'll be okay, you'll be fine. But if you just throwing around, oh wow, you know what, you make 7 figures, I love you. No, I'm sorry, you don't do that. That's like buying a new car. I like a Mercedes, but how you gonna like a Mercedes when you only got Toyota payment?
Here's the other thing. Men, I think we really believe that when she says she loves us, there's something behind that. More than just she loves us. And a lot of times we seem to believe she's trying to maneuver or manipulate me into something because in my mind, she don't know me well enough.
I disagree with that. I disagree with you.
You know why you think that, right?
No.
Because 9 times out of 10,
I disagree
men
with
always throw out that love word just to get what they want.
Boom.
That
That's
is why.
Boom. That's the reason why you think absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Oh my God.
A man will sit here and say they love a woman first before
Oh,
a woman will say that first. Because the thing is, you will sit there. It cracks me up. Then nowadays, I can speak from recent experience. I can speak from this from personal experience. Recent and personal experience. Basically, this is how it is nowadays in the game. Men are so desperate and they are so insecure about themselves that they will sit here and do whatever they can. They will sit here and corporately.
But a man will say,
They will sit here and do whatever they can.
No, wait a minute.
You're shaking. You're shaking.
I'm gonna throw the flag on this one.
You can't throw the flag if you don't want me to. I mean, you gotta hear what I gotta
Okay, I'm gonna hear you. Let's listen. Fellas, let's listen.
Don't judge before until you know what I'm gonna say.
Right.
Great. I'm about to say. Anybody got some oxygen? Great.
All right, let's hear this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Like I said from personal experience, I have actually I've had one man before. Matter of fact, he's not even a man because you can't call yourself a man for doing something like this. I had a boy before sit here and call himself holding conversation going on for months. Sitting here, being able to meet in person, go out, doing nothing but just courting each other. And basically all it was just a pawn to get what they want. Throwing out that L word, and I'm sitting here like, okay, that may be how you're feeling, but that's not how I'm feeling. But we can go ahead and still continue to work on this. But then as soon as that person gets what they want, next thing you know, no calls, no phone calls, ignoring and everything. Nowadays, this is what's going on. These boys out here, matter of fact, I don't even want to call them boys. I want to call them something lower, but you know what? I'm going to respect you guys. Okay? These boys out here, they are actually stooping that low and getting that desperate now of trying to go ahead and get these girls to get what they want. So that's why I said men are so easily to throw out that love word. And that's the reason why y'all thinking that way. You're thinking that we're going to do the same thing that you already do every day.
But you're describing a boy and a man. There's a difference. If you're talking about a boy is going to be like, you know, I love you. I'm like, oh my God. But a man, he's going to evaluate the situation. He's going to find your worth. He's going to know your worth, and then he's going to know in his heart, this is the woman I want to be with, and I do love her. A man's not just going to throw out the love
But
word.
here's one of the misconceptions, and guys, you guys might have to back me up on this.
All right.
Okay?
Oh, he wants back.
All right. All the love talk, all this love talk. Okay. First up, when we talk about we love you, and when we really want to express this love to you, that's to make sure that we take you guys off the market for anybody else.
Absolutely.
Because, okay, we're trying to close down the cookie jar factory for everybody else. Because when you think we love you, okay, you've closed yourself off to everybody else. So, and we'll say it before, because we have the potential to love you. We'll say we love you before we actually do, because I can't truly love you until I'm willing to give my life for you. If I only known you for 6 months, I ain't going down like that.
Now hear this. When we're talking about this love thing, okay, let's go ahead and call it what it is. It only takes a moment to like somebody, but it takes a lifetime to love someone. So therefore, if somebody is going to tell you that they love you, first of all, ladies, we need to do our homework. If this guy has been in 1, 2, 8, 10, 12 relationships, and he throws out the love word, flag, that should already, you should be like, oh, that's cute, thank you very much. But unfortunately right now, we haven't been in this relationship that long in order for us to express that. I'm still liking, I'm still trying to understand you. So see, once you do that, then not only are you letting the man know where you are, but you're also protecting yourself from being hurt. So now, why am I saying that? Because the next relationship you get in, which there might be a good man for you, you'll go around and bust him upside the head because of the last guy you were with. See? So therefore, what we have to do is we have to make sure our homework is straight, make sure that this guy is not going to lead me into a place where I don't want to go, take me where I don't want to stay. Okay? So then once you do that, then again, the love word won't even come up. You'll understand relationship issues as well.
That's all good and fine. But most of the men that know that if I say this, I'm in there. So I'm gonna tell you I love you. Yes, that wasn't gonna okay, I love you. And then, are we gonna move into this? Is that gonna be the spot where, okay, if I say I love you, you want me to really love you? I'm just so in love with you right now. I just want to hear that because I want to see that look on your face that said, yeah, she about to throw that flag up. She about to and we feel that way because, okay, what is it going to take? Just like you say, what is it going to take to get me from point A to point B? That's in most times. It takes time for us to fall in love. We don't go in with the expectations of love. We never go in with expectations of love. Right. We go in with expectations of how far can we go to get what we want that you have that's available to us. It don't necessarily have to be that. It can be your money, it can be your lifestyle, it can be if I can just move in this house. Oh my God.
Don't sex in, that's a bonus. So hey, I really enjoyed having this conversation with you guys, and thank you so much for joining me on The Rules with Coach and Friends. I was so looking forward to us spending some more time together. Join us next week as we go into a different rule and we start talking about, don't you know who you is? We'll talk to you next week. Thank you very much and have a great evening. Wonderful job. It's groups of
3, 2, 1, action.
Hey, this is Coach Ellis and Friends, and we will welcome you back to The Rules. And we got a good topic. All right. We're ready. So, here's what I want to talk about. In every relationship, at the beginning of it, you guys just getting to know each other, we bring in this baggage with us. Okay? So I want to talk about how do we identify our baggage and how do we get rid of this stuff. In fact, why y'all be bringing all the drama into relationships? Every time I start with y'all.
We already started off on the wrong foot.
You back there.
Somebody got you. Somebody got you.
Y'all come in with baggage. I'm insecure. That's your baggage.
Right. You know what really trips me out? All these ladies that seem to be in authority on what men do and what they don't have, what they don't know.
You don't know nothing like that back there.
Come on now.
know something about a man, ask a real man.
You been a man for how long? Let me try to get this.
We
You been a man
didn't
for how long?
have to be a man.
Oh, I've been a man. I've been a man for at least 30 years.
Now you say you
at
want
least 30 years.
But here's the thing, this isn't about how long you've been a man or if it's in question. But what the question is, you know, just had to do a little bit of it. The question is, that's okay. Okay, all right. But the question is about the baggage. And where does the baggage come from? And the thing is that sometimes, and I've said this before, sometimes we have blind spots and we don't realize what baggage we have. Sometimes I can recognize your baggage before you can recognize it. Like if you tell me all the women you dated, you know, you used to throw trash cans at me, you know, and yeah, trash can. This is a real story. I had a boyfriend like that. Like Della Reese, yeah, you know, trash cans.
Nah, I got to cut.
You know, I had to cut them. You know, and so you talking about you, and now I know why you always argue with me, because you have baggage of confrontation, but you don't realize that, because I might not be like, you know, what they say on the Beyonce Lemonade, Becky with the good hair. I might not be like her, but you're confrontational, and it's not because of me. It's because you might not recognize that you have a baggage, of confrontation. Same as for me. I may have one of you all said it in one of the shows about, you know, I'm the good man, but then you come into the relationship and I'm ready to beat you in the head because of what he did. Because I have baggage that maybe you were ITS. You know, you had Ike Turner syndrome. I made that up.
ITS.
But see, like,
It was false. It wasn't me. It was false.
Okay, it was false. You're right.
We were talking about this earlier, but sometimes all you know is pain. When all you know is pain from when you were a kid, you know, I love my mom to death, but they taught me rejection and abandonment. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I lie you right now. My daughter will never feel that from me. She'll never feel unloved. She'll never feel that. But the reality is, my mom, when I got older, my grandmother, that shit was kind of shiesty. But I understand why my mom became shiesty. You know what I'm saying? It was internal instinct, because she was bred from like a baby, so it was embedded in you. So we don't even know half these things. I dated dudes to the point where I felt like a secret so much that when I got with a dude, I didn't know how to come out of the closet on some real life stuff. Because dudes had so much stuff with them, they would keep me hidden because of their dirt, because of their insecurities. So I got used to staying home. I got used to different things. But when you got to the reality is, I'm not fighting you. I'm fighting your demon. But we don't want to address your demon.
So we got to learn how to identify generational curses.
Well, no, and soul ties.
And soul ties.
Let's talk about soul ties.
It's soul ties.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
What is a soul tie?
That means when we have intimacies, television, I don't know how raw it can get, but when we have intimacy and we join fluids, our souls mix. You know, I'm trying to make it sound nice.
So we have these cookie jar conversations, the cookie jar encounters, right? We have cookie jar encounters.
It's not through conversation, it's through sexual intimacy.
Okay, so we have cookie jar encounters.
Right. Oh, cookie jar encounters, I like that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I was having a blind moment, legitimately.
Okay. I like Oreos. So we have cookie jar confrontation or encounter. That creates a soul tie.
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
because that's what people don't understand, what true marriage is. True marriage is not going down to the justice
That's it,
of
break it down.
getting that license and so on and so forth. True marriage is when there's intimacy between a man and a woman and they start to connect each other.
Hold on.
He went into her, that's true marriage.
So that means that some of us have been married to a lot of folks.
Yeah. And we're not divorced.
Hey, they used to call me.
I'm not in denial about that.
I'm not married to you. I can definitely say that.
I love you, Ronnie. Absolutely.
And that's true. They used to call me Solomon Jr.
But the reality is, some of my issues, some stuff that I'm dealing with right now, it's not even my issue.
It's not your issue.
Think about it. Think about it. You ever been with somebody and they go home and the next day you exhausted, you tired, you itching, you scratching, you scared of, you know, been scared of? That's not even your problem.
And that's just it, ladies. That's just it. You have to be careful who you hook up with, because you can bring on their demons, their soul ties, and you find yourself acting out of characteristic that's not even synonymous with who you are. You acting like them.
But sometimes we don't even, that's the sad part. It goes back to what we talked about earlier. We don't know ourselves. We don't want to address the things that hurt us, because that means we're going to become vulnerable. We don't want to become victims. We don't want to seem like we're not good women or good men. But we don't want to go back to, I know that I realized that I never experienced love my whole life. I'm 37. And I've never experienced love. And that's because when I was 13, I think Poetic Justice had came out.
Yes.
And
with Tupac
and Janet Jackson.
And Janet Jackson.
This was like my first. This was like my first real. This was my first boyfriend. I thought was my boyfriend. Like you know, this is a whole other topic. But I think he's my boyfriend, and I was dressed up. This is the first time I could go out by myself. I was really excited. He came up to me, and he was just like, I didn't talk to you. So I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go to the movies on the train by ourselves. He was like, I don't love you anymore. Wow. I was like, what? I don't love you anymore. And I was like, at 13, I'm like, you don't love me no more. Wow. So I went to the movies, Port of Justice. And in the movie, when his cousin died, he treated her like crap. He screamed at her, whatever. And then he came back at the end, and it was okay. And I remember the song came on again. The Jandas came on again. It was playing. And when it came on, I sat there and was like, you don't love me anymore. You don't love me anymore. And I started repeating it. I started crying. But when he came back a couple days later, the movie told me he gonna hurt you, and he gonna come back. You take him back. That's what I was taught. That's why I gave men so many chances, because after they hurt me, okay, he gonna come back.
And that's where baggage develops. It develops from your own experiences.
From 13 until I didn't find myself till I'm 37.
Right.
I didn't find myself till I was 31.
Right.
So I lived this whole life based on that experience when I was 13.
That's it.
So this makes sense. Now we kind of contradict ourselves and how we live our life and what's really good for us. That's why it's good to practice monogamy. It's not a popular word to use nowadays, right?
What are you saying?
But if you ever find yourself thinking about somebody you had sex with 14 years ago, when a certain song come on, and you be like, oh yeah.
Let me call, bring it with the ring.
That's right. That's what causes you to fall into temptation, because you shouldn't have any, really and truly, you should only know one partner. Because if you know one partner, you have no idea how to think outside the box about somebody else. That's why it's so important to know one another.
We always got ideas of how to think about somebody else.
Well, we do, but I mean, it makes it less tempting when you only had one partner, and that's all you know.
You know, one of my sisters said something real good earlier. They said something that the reality is, that's what I want. The reality is, I want to say that I only want to be with one person. I want to teach my children only to be with one person. But that is not what society is telling them and what it's showing them. So what do? We know about baggage. We know about soul ties. What are we telling them to do to demolish them? Because the same way you can get a divorce, you can break away.
So do we know about soul ties? I mean, we're talking, but do we honestly know about soul ties? Do we honestly know about baggage? Because before we can get to a point where we can start telling folks what to do about it, we have to make sure we understand for ourselves.
A lot of times we don't want to do that, because that means that you're going to look up one day and be like, you know what? Coach got low self-esteem. Diggs got low self-esteem.
That's it.
Like, then that means how are people going to perceive us? Because then we have to not look pretty to the public. We're not going to look good. We're not going to have it together all the time. When I think I spent 2 of my years going to bed crying every night. But social media don't reflect that.
That's right.
Coach, you said something earlier. You said something earlier. Women get over you, they leave you. They're already over you.
They're done.
Men get over 2 years. It take them 2 years to heal, because
we tend to be over it.
Right. Hard. This is my point.
Man,
but this is my point. We can't sit there and let you rub our face in the dirt. We got to show some kind of respect for ourselves.
But then you're building baggage because you're packing it in.
Well, that's true too. That's true too. But you know, that ego thing is a terrible thing. But that's why it's so important for us to know what soul tie is. That's why it's so hard for you to let that man go, because you keep sleeping with him. Every time you sleep with him, you start over the process. It's just like pulling the scab off. Just like a lot of women, when they leave you, they'll call you back because they left you on purpose, but they'll call you back so you can hear their voice, so you can, oh, I love you all over again. But then they leave again.
And it doesn't even take sex. If they've already created the soul tie, sorry, Coach, it's not even always about sex. If I've already got that soul tie with you, you can just call me. You can just do this. You're going to keep pouring back into me. Keep pouring and pouring until I stop it.
That's right, I'm sorry. So if the person is not good for you, you need to cut them off. You don't even need to hear their voice.
That's the thing.
You don't need to be intimate with them.
I
You can cut it off.
You can't go cold turkey. Is that even realistic?
I'm the man.
Is that even
on your bench.
Look.
I love you. 37.
So look, all right, we need to take a commercial break here just for a second. We'll be right back.
All right.
Keep me off the bench.
I'm ready to go in, Coach.
Good conversation, good dialogue. I need you to exit.
Okay.
Thank you kindly.
Get up on out of
Thank you kindly. I have you all on Facebook Live. he leave. That was a conversation.
Coming out, have a good night.
And guys, if you're sitting in the audience and you see me go on Periscope, if we follow each other, or Facebook Live, that's what I'm doing. Let's support the auditions, okay? We all win when we do that. Sit in the way. Yeah, sit in the
He found a good thing.
Ready?
Yes.
Ready?
Mr. B.
3, 2, 1, action.
Right before we went to commercial, we were talking about baggage and soul ties. And what I'm really interested in is how do we break a soul tie?
Okay, well, to break a soul tie, first you have to know the definition of it. And personally, I think a soul tie is when you are intimate, and it doesn't have to be physical, it could be mental. And it's that attachment, is that you feel dependent on that person for emotional support, for physical support, sexual, whatever. And you're basically everybody who they have slept with or been with, that is into you. You know, they're transforming those things into you.
So you and I
Yeah.
are together. We in a monogamous, long-term.
And you bring all of those past women into our relationship, and that's your baggage.
But that soul tie we have. You're saying you get some of her and some of her and some of her too.
You do. I disagree. I disagree. I totally disagree with that. And the only reason why I disagree with that is that if I meet you and we start kicking it, we fall in love, that's it. I'm not thinking about a person that I slept with 10 years ago, 3 months ago, because it's all about
Really?
you. So I'm going to sever that right there.
How do you sever that? How do you sever it?
Because of the relationship and the bond that we're building.
You were with this guy for 15 years, and you meet me 2 years after you break up. How you want to just dismiss 15 years of love and respect and all that stuff just because you think so? Just because I said so? Does it really work like that?
Yes, it does. It does work that way. Because I'm going in new in a brand new relationship. And I'm going in with my eyes open. And I have detoxed, that's a great word, I've detoxed from that gentleman. I went through my mourning period, I stayed in my bed and cried, then I had to get up, because that happened to me. I was really in love with this guy, and then now he's out having a great time, I'm in the bed, I'm sleeping, and I'm trying, he's not even thinking about me. I mean, my mom's trying to get me to get up, my girlfriends are calling me. One day I hear this Patti LaBelle song. I got a new attitude. That's when that was hot. It was hot, smoking. And I was like, what are you doing? This guy is out there having a great time. Probably doing as many people as he wants, and I'm just laying in his bed. Because you got to the point to be truthful to yourself. Right. I think the problem is that number one, people need to know before they even start talking about love, they need to know the definition of intimacy, okay? Right. And they don't know that. Then what that soul tie brings in, when you break off, end of a relationship is like a death. Okay, so you need to have a funeral, you need to bury it, you need to mourn, you need to go through your period.
Absolutely.
Okay, I know one of the young ladies that was on one of your past shows, she was talking about learning how to love and not having that example. A lot of people don't realize that they're suffering from post-relationship trauma. Okay, and it starts if you grow up in a household and you don't know how to love, then your expectation is you need to go out and get help to learn what love is before you start getting into relationships. And that is true. And the thing of it is, I'm 56, and I think that I'm fabulous. You know what I mean? At this age, thank you. And I have learned a lot of life lessons. But one of the most profound lessons that I have learned at my age, that I love myself so much. I'm in love with me that I can date myself. I've never felt that way before.
I go out to
Which
dinner
makes
with myself, take myself to the movies.
which makes my relationship with my husband that much better.
That's right.
Because all my securities, I just felt like I was just having a waiting to exhale moment, just a woosah moment.
Oh, you were trying to burn cars and stuff.
No, I wasn't trying to do it all like that. But I have thrown some stuff out of the closet. My husband has come home and found all the stuff in the middle of the floor. You know what I mean? But again,
to have that feeling, that passion, that love about myself
All right,
is amazing.
So, see, as for guys, soul ties is real hard for us. First of all, we don't like to admit we get hurt.
Right.
Right? So it'll be, and when you quit us, first of all, that don't work for us. We're gonna call you back, we're gonna win you back just so we can dump you.
Exactly. Right. And that has happened to me.
Exactly. That
Just so you're ready, because that helps me break the soul tie. If you broke up with me, I'm hooked. I can't believe she did that to me. It'll be 15 years. I'll be in a fetal position somewhere. You know.
Right. That's the one thing my dad always said. He said the one thing a man never wants is a woman that he hates.
Yeah.
That is the
Oh,
worst
man.
thing in the whole entire world. He said because it just does something to you.
Even if we can't get with you, we want you to like us.
No, he said we're not gonna even like you. Because you did too much.
For example, I have a situation. Okay, I got married, okay, and I found out he was still married to someone else 3 months into the marriage. So exactly, we had a child together. So that is definitely a whole total different dynamic, and it's hard to break that soul tie.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was I dumped him.
That's a show all by itself.
He wanted to work it out. He was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and make the divorce legal. We stay together. And I told him, no, it's over. And until this day, like you said, men do not want women hating them, or they want to be the ones to break up, get back with you and break up. But to this day, he tells everybody, oh, she broke up with me. I hate her. I can't stand her. But then he wanted to come back, like you said.
And he'll come back today. If you
Yeah,
let him.
yeah. He
But why is that, Coach?
Somebody
Break that down to me. I really want to know why that is with that.
Part of it is ego. If we've ever had a cookie jar encounter, I believe I have the right to use a cookie jar for the rest of my
And
life.
men do. They do.
You do?
Yes.
They believe that. Men, not that they do have the right to it, but they do think that.
Because so you think you just had that hidden key that is like a treasure box?
Kind of like a they think they own it.
It's like a brand,
You guys
like
mark
a
the
stamp.
territory.
I have written my name on your body.
That's right. They mark the territory.
Because what science tells us is that you will carry my DNA with you for the rest of your life. Science tells us
Even
that.
in that, I think the thing is that they want to go back to be sure that they can go back because the insecurity of thinking that somebody else hit it and did
Oh,
better.
yeah.
that's
The worst thing for us to know, after us, we want the shop to be closed up, cobwebs and everything. We want it all closed down.
He a punk.
I don't want to hear
a
about
fireball. That's the word. All the guys say, oh, that's a fireball. What you doing with that fireball? They constantly will break down that other dude that you're with when they see you somebody. And
That's not necessarily true because I am going through something in my personal life now, and this person and I, we had a relationship many years ago.
You still,
but I still look young.
She blushes.
I know. No, seriously. We had a previous relationship, and both times I broke up with him, and then he came back into my life, and he still talks about, well, I can't believe that you left me. I can't believe that you did this. But then I tell him, at the end of the day, what were you doing?
Exactly.
I was like, I was a young thing in my prime, and you did not appreciate me, so I had to move on, But I feel that they do try to come back. They do try to get back with you, and he has made statements as in, I can't believe that you moved on, and I can't believe you were with somebody else. What were you doing?
But what happens if you get this? What happens if you get this? Who told?
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, action.
Yeah, when we went to commercial, these folks just yapping and yapping and yapping about this soul tie thing. And and they wouldn't shut up the entire commercial. So now that we're back, they ain't got nothing to say. So, I am hurting. She broke my heart. I would try to go back to her so I could break her heart because I wasn't having it on my conscience that she dumped me. Didn't happen. Now 15 years later, I can't hold a good relationship because all I think about is that if I ever really get close to another woman, she's gonna leave me. I'm a doggone good man, but I cannot go through a heartbreak again. How do I get rid of this baggage?
Why don't you start by clearing everything that's going on within you first. What did you do to make her leave you to begin with?
I did nothing. I was good to her.
Cut it. You
So-
were
so-
probably out there running the street.
Hey, you're blaming the victim?
doing-
Blaming the victim?
You
Really?
are the victim.
I'm the
You
victim. She
perpetrated
broke
all
up with
this
me.
to
I'm
begin
the
with.
victim.
No, you started this
I
mess.
paid a light bill, I paid a car bill, I done paid for children, wasn't even mine. She left me.
Why did she leave you? You were probably out there being a dog. You were not really taking care of home because just paying the bills is not everything in a relationship. Just taking care of
Really?
a little sex every now and then. It may not even be negative. It may not have been
I'm
negative.
sorry, I gotta come to your defense. I'm actually, can you believe it? I'm actually gonna come to his defense.
Oh,
Why?
no.
I can't believe it. I'm saving you
Save
because
private coach. Save private coach.
automatically it comes here. Why, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, why did it have to be what he did?
Why?
Automatically,
Why come?
when people are not together, if the relationship didn't work out, that just means that you guys weren't going to work out. You guys weren't meant to be. I always believe that everything happens for a reason. So if you guys are not together, that means that basically you didn't fit. She wasn't good enough for you, you weren't good enough for her, or basically you two didn't have what you need for each other.
But
Good, we bring you over to Team M.
Also,
Manhood, yeah.
We each play a role in a relationship, so what you have to do is sit back and assess what was your contribution within the relationship. You have to get real and honest about what you did to contribute or what you did not do.
Of it, exactly.
Right.
Well, now here's the way we should look at it. First of all, again, understanding what relationship is. If you did your homework, you looked at this young lady and you said, okay, this is a young lady that I believe that could help me, that could grow me, and we can grow together. And she had things that I can use, and she, and vice versa. But now here's the catch. When two are going together, there are some times where one might veer off one way or one might veer off the other way. So it's really not your fault. It's not her fault. You just continue to grow. Now watch this. Here's the thing. What you have to do now, because again, you're still thinking in your mind that I need to stay. Something happened. Nothing happened. You just grew apart. Going back to that, I'm sorry, the soul tie issue. And y'all don't mind, I just like to go to church for a moment. We have to understand that we are triune beings. We are people with a mind, body, and spirit. What happens is we'll give a woman our mind and we'll give a woman our body, but we don't focus on our spirit. Now what is happening is once you give a woman your spirit, then that means you've put your all in a relationship.
I loved her.
Yeah, you loved her, and that's a wonderful thing. But now you also have to understand, just because you gave her your mind, body, and spirit, what she probably did was saying, yes, I'll give you my mind and my body, but now hold on about that spirit thing, because maybe there's somewhere that you're going, I'm really not seeing that. And so therefore, what happens is you both decided to go different ways. It's not that you were wrong or she was wrong. It's not that there's a victim or victorious.
I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Somebody has to pay the price for victimizing me. I'm a man. I can't be laying around crying in bed and all that. Get over it.
If you're a man, look, say it with your chest. Get over it.
I get over it. I love her.
Here's the thing, let it go. She wasn't worth it. She wasn't no good for you.
But I love
Just
her.
move on. If she lets you go, we know, you know it's man to man. We know you a good dude.
But you know what? Now,
we know you're good, so she wasn't right.
Now watch
But
this.
I'm in a fetal position over there. You tell me to get over it. I'm in the fetal
Yes.
position. I
But
can't
the
just
thing
get over it.
Exactly.
You need that tough love.
If you want to move forward, you have to let go of that.
But my thing is this: you
Do
probably
you
don't
know
even
how many
why.
women are out here?
What?
You know how many women are out here, and you crying over that one?
Because that was the
That's
one.
why you
Yeah,
that was-
So you weren't the one
That's what she makes you want. That's what she has conditioned you to think, that she's the best thing you could have ever had.
But she was.
Nah, she wasn't. Trust me on that.
But watch this though. But now here's the hit. Again, we're going back to, because everybody, you're not the only one that's been in this position. I'm pretty sure if we polled about 1,000 men, there are probably about at least 500 that have been in that same situation.
That admit it.
But the problem is, but watch this though. Yes, you can move on. Yes, you can go ahead and let it go. But now here's the thing. You've got to understand, we as men, the one word that we cannot deal with is failure.
Rejection.
When you are a failure, that is a label that a man cannot deal with. So what he'll do is he'll try to make his way back. He'll try to do, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make sure. But you're not a failure in this case. This is why you're in the fetal position. That's why you got your thumb in your mouth. That's why you rolling over trying to play dead.
Yeah,
You don't need that.
it was bad.
See, you need to go ahead
With tears and everything, stop running out. It was bad,
Exactly.
man.
But you gotta understand that failure is not final. Failure is not final. There's gonna be somewhere that you're gonna get into another
You mean
relationship.
she's gonna come back to me then?
No, I didn't say she's gonna come back because again, like I said, failure is not final. I didn't say that you're gonna be suicidal.
She don't come back. I don't know.
No. You don't ever go back.
Then that means you prepare yourself and you better yourself in all the areas that you failed in or were negligent
Why
in
did I have to
before.
fail at anything?
Because
It's her
obviously you would
fault.
still
Because
be
nobody is
together. Why is it her
perfect.
fault?
Everybody is going to fail.
That's a good man. That's what it is.
That's the reason why she left you. You think that you're perfect. That's the reason why you alone now.
Wow.
Yeah,
See what? See, she setting you up for another
said,
failure.
excuse me. Nobody is perfect.
You're
That's the reason
a
why.
man to be out there woofing constantly. But I can give you, for instance, one of, an ex, we'll say that, an ex. I found out, at any rate, I found out that he was trying to sneak with a coworker of mine. I confronted him with it, I confronted her with it. I cut him off completely. Okay, that fetal position, that crying, that boo-hooing, I didn't mean it, it was just, gonna be, no. If you're gonna share what I'm giving you and be that open with someone else to give away what I think is mine, then I don't need you at all.
But can't sometimes things just happen?
I came to work one day, he's on his knees on the ground. Everybody, take him back. It's like, why? You broke that trust.
Can't I accidentally?
You
Hey,
fell.
you fell.
I accidentally.
You fell.
It was a moment of weakness.
We take it back, but somebody you give it back.
You fall on the sidewalk. You don't fall into someone's coochie.
But now here's my thing. But now here's my thing. But watch this though. But let's go back to the rules. Let's go back to the rules. When you first start off, you already let them know this is the way we're looking at our relationship. Well, first of all, let's go back. Let's say I do like you. Let's say that I do want to have a better relationship with you. And then all of a sudden we say, hey, things are going great, things are going good, but be mindful. If you do this, if you say this, then no, it's not stipulations, it's called rules. Because what will happen is, see, a stipulation is you better. See, that's different than if this happens. See, you don't put a stipulation on a man, because a man will go just like this, all right then, I'm going to do it anyway.
So here's the thing, so if she don't say nothing, so if she don't say what the rules are,
wait a minute.
then things like the situation she said can just happen because there were no rules. I didn't know what the rules were. So when I got with her, I didn't know you felt that hard about it. So that's what happened again. I know now, because you brought it to my attention. I didn't know before.
Now it's fair.
Now
it's fair. Now I know.
In a relationship, if we're together, like you're saying,
Mhm.
okay, so it's just you and me.
Define a relationship. Did we have the relationship talk?
Have we had the talk?
We not had the talk.
Okay, so with us having that talk, aren't we already assuming that you're not going to slip and fall into anything?
Assuming does a bad thing.
So let me ask you, what happens if I slip and fall?
Now watch this. Again, we talk about the difference between all of us here.
Okay.
There are some of us who have that type of casual relationship where I didn't know oops, it happened. But then again, no, that's a casual thing because the fact is, if you into somebody the way you're supposed to be into them, that won't happen.
Hold on.
It shouldn't happen.
Are you suggesting that men are built for monogamy?
No.
Because I would suggest men are not built for monogamy. We must choose monogamy. So if I'm in a relationship, if we have the relationship conversation, we're in a relationship. If we don't specifically outline this is monogamous, then all I know that we're in a relationship, but there are other options.
But now watch this. What you
You're
said,
living
we
with
choose.
somebody and you're saying that you're not in a monogamous relationship.
Are we living together? Are we living together?
Well, he said-
I said we're in a relationship.
He jumped up and living together.
And this is
Who
also
paying the
not
rent?
making
Who
ourselves in trouble.
I'm trying to figure
I see.
if we're living together, We had to have this conversation. Living together
Right.
means
Oh, of course
this
you had that.
because we're living together. I don't plan to marry you, but we're gonna live together. You know, whatever the conversation is. You know, we're living together. I'm gonna pay these bills. I'm gonna pay these bills. Here's what intimate expectations I have at the household. Here's what intimate expectations you have at the household. Here's here is when we go vacation. Are we gonna live like husband and wife? We're gonna have this conversation. But if monogamy is not part of that conversation, if you assume monogamy and we don't have the conversation, it's just your bad assumption.
But then again, but like you're saying again, if you're going to be, now hear what you just said. If we're going to be husband and wife, or if we're going to live like no, you said, because you already said, you said we live together.
We're having wifey duties.
Okay, but my thing is this. If you gonna sit up here, why would I, now we're talking about time. Because see, now I'm wasting my time. If I'm not going to, first of all, number one.
First of all, I ain't living with you. I ain't worried about you wasting your time. I'm talking to you.
I'm not gonna have anybody, watch it, no. I'm not gonna have anybody in my home. That's right. I'm not gonna invite anybody in my home as somebody that's going to be somewhat I'm supposed to be with. And she's gonna be telling me this and telling me that. Because what's going to happen is there's going to be a problem. Because now she's going to be looking for something that is not there.
That's why we had the conversation. So you know up front. That's why you got to date older women. They understand rules.
Wait a minute. When we're talking about someone giving you these rules and telling you you're going to not do this or that, are we still talking about monogamy? Because I still feel like I shouldn't have to tell you that.
Why not? My assumption should be different if I don't know. Okay, here's the perfect example. Other show, they were talking about baggage.
Okay.
Other show, they were talking about baggage. And we'll come right back to that.
Very good. Very good.
Good job.
Excellent bumper. Take me out. There you go. Okay, thank you guys. Good conversation. Good conversation. Coach, unless you have something else, this is going to be our last group.
Who's number 10?
Oh, number 10. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, I appreciate it. She was in the conversation, she was in it. She was getting in there.
Okay, here we go.
You coming out with it?
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. 3, 2, 1, action.
And welcome back to the rules. You know, when we went to commercial, these folks were gabbing and just talking it up. And what we really want, when we were talking about the soul tie and what we're going to do with the soul tie. How do I get rid of a soul tie? We know what it is. We know what damage it causes. How do I get rid of it?
You have to purge yourself from that soul tie. You have to
Purge myself. That sounds like I got to take an enema. And
you gotta do what you gotta do. But you do what you gotta do. But you have to really purge yourself. You have to purge yourself from that. You have to make a conscious decision to say, hey, I've dated XYZ. I'm in a relationship with her, and it's her alone. Once you make a conscious decision about something, you can move forward. It's all about forward movement and all about what it is that you want to do with that. And
just because I can be faithful to her, to my new woman, I just gotta be faithful and I can love her, doesn't mean I've actually dealt with that soul tie.
No.
That's right. Exactly.
Right. You gotta do it in the mortal words of Teddy Pendergraft when it comes to soul tie. You gotta turn it off. Sometimes you gotta learn how to cut it off. You can't have any contact with the person. You can't talk to them because you know all of that's connecting with the soul tie. So in order for you to break free of something, you gotta totally separate yourself from it.
Exactly. Listen, you know, but
we got children together.
No, but
first, children together.
That's what I don't like. Is that when we have children together, when a man says to you, I'm not in love with her, but I will always love her because she's the mother of my children. Right. I don't break that down. I don't get that. Because you said we have children together, and how are we going to break the soul tie?
Because that's two different roles.
Right. Parent
of respect and
That's
courtesy.
it.
Because, you know, even though my little father, we weren't together, it's a level of respect that just needs to be.
Because this part, it
Oh.
takes a lot to bear the seed of somebody, so there's always going to be that mutual respect. But just like he said, turn it off, detox. We got to remember, because one thing women are bad for is we hold on to memories that are actually shackles. Okay,
Come
we
on.
shackle
That's
ourselves
true.
to things that because we can look at a picture or something and that may be a memory, and our mind gets tunnel vision and stops right there. We don't go beyond that. After we took that picture, we argued for 6 hours and he disrespected me and he slammed his way out of the door. We stay right there in that tunnel vision or whatever. So we have to break free of those chains. Purge is a good thing. Detox other things.
Right, absolutely. Like, this is really random, but this is what
Yeah,
I
it's
for my
alright.
research.
Random.
Hey, what's that? AA?
Yeah, let's go.
Have y'all
Hi, my
ever-
name is Rhonda.
No, I don't drink. I've never been an alcoholic. But when you get the time, research their manual.
That's it. All of the different
that
things
went
you
to,
go through.
like even when I
12
do the different speaking engagements, being saved, another thing was being delivered.
That's right.
When you be saved, you acknowledge the sin.
That's right.
To be delivered, you got to go through steps 1 through 12.
Right.
Acknowledging the sin, acknowledging who you hurt,
That's it.
taking your responsibility, forgiving them, forgiving ourselves. Sometimes we take people back because we didn't forgive ourselves for hurting them.
That's right.
Well, maybe we
So people-
sometimes, I mean, I agree
I'm having a hard
that
time
it's
forgetting
at the same
hurt
time.
me.
Because
Wait a minute.
same thing,
But
but
you
you
gotta-
say at the same time, that person may have changed. So maybe you just want to give them.
You don't gotta be the
But it's not about them changing.
But I'm just saying,
Why
what
should
if
I
they
do?
change?
But you know what? It's not about that.
I met a girl, not to cut you
Go
off. I
ahead.
met a girl who said her parents, they got divorced and then they got remarried.
Yes,
to
yes,
someone else.
absolutely.
But that's not for everybody. Like y'all, a lot of people kept saying he's an ex for a reason. I really can't agree to that because sometimes you got to be into something. You got to be into something to learn
right.
and grow, to know
Well,
yourself.
that's true because my aunt and uncle were married, got divorced, and she married him again, and they got divorced again because to my thing, he had not changed. She thought he had changed, but he had not changed because it was the
But
same.
you know what, that makes me think there's a word, this is a big word if you will, it's called inordinate affections. And what that basically means is that we are attaching things to things that where it doesn't belong.
Right.
You know, and so I want to keep taking him back because I keep believing, even though there's no signs, I keep believing that he has something that I need that I can give for him. But he never existed that thing. So I have this attachment to him that should never exist. It's the people who have mommy issues and daddy issues.
Right. It's that hope thing. It's that hope thing.
That's what it is.
Hoping
You're
that he's changed.
It's
You're
not
hoping.
you.
You're
You're
not
not
interjecting.
interjecting.
You
It
want
happens
to
to you.
get right.
If I may interject, ladies, if I may interject in this, one way to overcome a soul tie, just to get back on the point here, on the topic. One way to get past the soul tie is number one, I think a good exercise would be to set 2 chairs up. You sit down in one chair and have the other chair facing you. And you talk to that chair as if that chair is another person. And you tell that chair how they hurt you, how they made you feel, how they tore you down. And you also tell that chair that, look, I forgive you and I won't hold any grudges. And you had that, so you need closure in order to break the soul tie as well, because it's a part of forgiveness and healing. And folks, let's just get it right. You won't get anything done without forgiving somebody first.
That's true.
But nobody
You have to forgive somebody to break a soul tie.
You can't fake forgiveness either.
But nobody
because
knows how to
Don't you
forgive.
think
There's
as
some
an
people
excuse?
exactly that get back
Sometimes
and
people
can't.
use that soul tie as an excuse to
That's
do what
it.
it is that they want to do.
That's true.
Because you can get
But
rid
we
of it,
talking about
I think-
breaking it, though.
Yeah, but I think that it's an excuse.
Because some
But
people
you-
leave you and you don't have a chance
so
to
you
get
still
closure.
can think about that
But
person.
to
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now, when it comes to soul ties, this is what I believe.
Right.
When I coach folks, this is what I coach. So if you have a soul tie with somebody, go find them. Wherever they are in life, go find them. Okay? Because here's what happens. When we go to that person, many times, if we truly have a soul tie, they're tied to us too.
That's right.
Okay? And just as we're not free, they're not free.
But the reality is, people don't know that. To know, sometimes people don't know what to give you. They don't know how to. They don't
Sure.
know how to
let it go.
They're not. You're not always gonna get that. That's the reality. You're
Right.
not always going
That's
to
right.
get
True.
that. Sorry, because a lot of times people don't know. Like my dad.
Yeah, coach, what if somebody abandoned you and you don't know where they are? That's how you get
they
that
have
close.
abandonment issues, and you'll never really know because they don't have. That means to address
but
them.
the first step is, and even if you can find them,
Right. Okay.
If you can find them, I think it's important to find them and have the conversation. And for no other reason, I'm not really interested in telling them how they hurt me. What I'm interested in is saying, I'm sorry. for allowing us to be in this position where I can tie to you. And because I'm tied to you, you have not been free to
Can
go
I send them a
be
Facebook?
in-
How do you say, how do you know that I'm free?
I'm talking about breaking the actual soul tie, yo.
But how do you know that I'm not free? You're just assuming, I mean, I may be free, but you may be thinking that I'm not free because you're not free.
I know, but forgiving people isn't about them.
It's not about
Right. It's about them.
You're talking about my responsible for your own closure.
No,
I'm just asking.
but in the
No,
reason-
in the reality, I think I agree with her. You are responsible for your own closure.
You are.
Because like my daughter's father passed away.
What do you do?
Never,
Well, see,
that's what I'm saying. I never got to have that conversation.
That's
I mean,
where the two-chair exercise
we were
comes
in a
in.
good
For somebody who's been abandoned
but at the
or
same
somebody
time,
who
that
lost
goes to
somebody
what
to
she
death.
said, getting your own closure. I can't call him. I want to go dig him up and say, hey,
But here's
you know,
that's
right.
that time at band camp, you know, it didn't work out.
average woman, okay, when men break up, men go on or whatever, women always want to know why. There's never a woman who does not get violated.
That is true. You
And
always
we
give
want to
women
know,
a victim role.
and no, it's not a
Men get
victim role.
hurt.
That's the
Men
truth. It's not a
broke
victim role.
up. Why
That's
you
the
always gotta be the
reality.
one to
A
lead?
woman always wants to know why. And one of the things I tell women, you will never know why. You have to find a comfort within yourself to
And it goes back to knowing
like she
yourself.
said, and she
But here-
said, he may not even know why. One of the sisters said before, it just did not work. It didn't fit. I wish the bishop was up here because one of the things that people don't understand, and yes, I'm going to church now, they don't
I'ma go
respect
with
the
it. Let's go to
covenant.
church.
Okay?
For people
They
that
don't
don't know, I'm a
understand the
pastor, so we
covenant.
talk.
They don't understand what the covenant means, okay? They
Right.
don't understand that when you stand before God, you are talking to God and making a covenant
Right.
that this is the person that I know. See, one of the things we got to stop doing as women is going to look for a husband. You're supposed to stay
Not
and let
our
your
role.
husband found
Come
you because
on.
that's not
But-
your
okay,
role.
but-
When
right.
I
but
said,
we
hold
never-
on,
we-
when
I'm
I
sorry.
sat still and I let God bring the man that he designed for me, I
Right.
saved myself a lot
But
of
we
heartache.
learned that later on in life.
Yes.
If I would have known that, that would have saved me a lot of headaches.
lot of heartache.
A long time ago.
Let's talk about it.
Which is why we're hosting this show.
Right.
We want y'all to
Because-
learn
right,
this.
because- I'm all proud of perfect man, but I didn't know that. Nobody told me that I needed to wait for God to find somebody for me. If I would have known that, I would have went through all those life.
But you
But
were told,
but in a perfect world, that's not
I
a
was not
perfect
told.
our
world.
parents told us, our grandparents, somebody told us,
No,
but again,
no,
we
nobody-
chose
But ladies,
to
let's
do
just
what
be
we wanted
realistic.
to do.
Listen.
Okay, be
You
realistic.
made an appointment. You wish the bishop was up here. Well, the bishop is up here. I'm a pastor myself, but I don't go around telling everybody that because I'm not just here to reach Christians. I'm here to reach Muslims, Buddhists, atheists. I want to reach everybody because everybody needs to know how to be set free from this thing. So my thing is not that we not always polarize ourselves because we don't want to alienate the people who need the information as well. Because sometimes we have to use wisdom in being Christian. We need not to turn people off through religion. We need to learn how to give them wisdom.
the words fall.
That's what I'm saying. So
let's understand.
if it wasn't for me telling you, you would never know that I am.
Let's understand.
What are you saying,
Let's
Coach?
understand this. That if the churches talked about this, everybody would be better.
I agree.
If the church knew how to handle
But that's
these type of
but that's it. You know, the
conversations.
church
But
is so scared to talk about
we talk
sex.
about real time situations. Churches be masking stuff for the sake of having their congregations full. They don't want to have a real life conversation.
So be honest. Let's be right.
Let's be honest
So
about it.
while we're not doing a diatribe on churches, the thing
Right,
is
right.
that for relationship, the reason we got to have this show is because churches aren't talking to the folks.
And not only
about-
churches, parents are
Schools
talking
are
about
talking,
it.
parents are
Right
talking.
now, people have
They
the
want to know
option
what's
of
happening.
opting
No,
They suffer from
they
the taboo
know.
syndrome.
I don't
They know.
know.
How do you bridge this now? I mean, we already know what the problem is. So I have my daughter. She's what age should we start? She's 5, 6, 7 years old. Should we begin to start having classes and letting them know groups have?
We should. They have family life in school, but what they have done is this an option. Sometimes with too many options.
But even that, here's how we learn everything. Okay, our first teachers are our parents.
That's it.
Good, bad, or
Yeah,
indifferent.
but the thing of it
Good,
is,
bad, or
I'm
indifferent.
sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Our first teachers are parents. Good, bad, or indifferent. And we have a responsibility to live a life and to present the right answers. Now,
But that doesn't
But
always
that-
work
that's the
because the
blind-
life
but it
lessons
comes
and the
down to
things
the
that
blind
you
leading the
see that your
blind.
parents go through. I mean, I've seen my mom go through a lot of things. I'm not saying that my dad, I said a lot about my dad. I'm not saying my dad was a great provider.
That's right.
Don't even get me wrong. He really, really was. But I saw my mom stand by a man
that really wasn't worthy. I mean, again, I love my dad.
So
what I'm
put
saying.
a comment right here. Put a comment right,
Right,
here.
okay, comment.
And we'll be back.
We'll be back.
Good job.
When he said it's trying to be,
Let me tell you something.
trying to be an example.
Stand by. Okay, love you guys. Love you guys. And Nikki. This is why
It was getting heavy.
show.
It was getting
I love
heavy.
This is why we do this.
And that's what we want. How many of you all have figured out Coach Ellis' role?
Yeah, troublemaker. He's a famous song that Prince made. Controversy. I like that.
The song is.
And I'm going to say this because all of you all made it. You all made the cut. You all made phase 2. I've had a couple of people to tell me, well, I'm kind of glad I did make it in a way because Coach Ellis gets on my nerves. I was afraid. I like him. He's good. But I was afraid that I was going to lose my cool.
Then you don't need to be up there.
See what I'm saying? But that's what we want because this is real life situations here.
That's what I'm talking
This is what